reckless homicide. This boat is indeed full of surprises. After the missiles, Panamanian inspectors have found some 15 MiG-21 fighter plane engines. However, the discovery was expected. Cuba had rapidly come forth with a list of material hidden in the containers. It was officially obsolete equipment being sent to North Korea to be repaired and then sent back to Cuba. The United Nations is questioning this version of things and is sending experts to examine all the contents of the cargo ship. A water main broke open in Rio de Janeiro, causing a massive flood in certain districts. At 5 in the morning Brazil time, a wave almost 20 meters high struck a district in the west of the city. Escaping proved difficult. A little girl was killed and 13 people were injured. Technicians intervened quickly, but the cause of the water main break remained unknown.
There is talk of vote rigging as Zimbabweans go to the polls in presidential, parliamentary and local government elections. Some 6.4 million people are eligible to cast their votes. Zimbabweans want more jobs and greater opportunities to raise living standards. 89 years and still going, President Mugabe, who has served 3 decades in power, voted this morning without making a statement. But earlier the president vowed to step down if he lost the vote. Let's look at this report for more on that developing story.
Some 6.4 million people are eligible to vote in presidential, parliamentary and local polls in Zimbabwe today. Some voters started lining up at dawn in the cold to be sure to vote, like here at this polling station in a neighborhood in the capital, Harare. The presidential election is the focus of everyone's attention and brings with it hope for change.
I would love to have a leader who would create jobs for us, opportunities for better for us, to better our country.
89-year-old incumbent President Robert Mugabe has been in power for 33 years and is likely to stay there. He voted this morning with his family without making a statement. But during a press conference on Tuesday, Mugabe vowed to step down if he loses.
In a competition where there are only 2 outcomes, win or lose, you can be both.
Mugabe once again is pitted against his perennial rival and reluctant partner in an uneasy coalition for the past 4 years, Prime Minister Morgan Tsvangirai.
Well, I thought that it's not if, it's when. It has always been a question of
winning this election, Mr. Tsvangirai.
Quite resoundingly, I must say.
Suspicions of fraud are clouding these elections. The opposition claims it has proof of fraud, but by midday, the head of the African Union Observers said the voting was going smoothly so far.
It's been quiet, it's been orderly. The first place I called in this morning, they opened prompt at 7 o'clock.
In this country plagued by economic collapse and curtailed freedom, voters in Zimbabwe hope these elections will simply bring a better future.
Meanwhile, Mali's Interior Minister has announced that Ibrahim Bouba Keita is taking a large lead in the country's first election after the crisis sparked off by the Tuareg invasion of the north. But while Keita's supporters celebrate the early lead, others in Mali think differently. They're asking the minister to step down for allegedly hijacking the polls. We have more in this report.
Supporters of Ibrahim Boubacar Keita were celebrating in Bamako under the watchful eyes of UN peacekeeping troops and Malian security forces at the Territorial Administration Ministry. They had just learned the early voting results.
We want people to accept the final results and to remain calm.
The voting trends made public by Malian officials were based on the counting of 1/3 of all votes. These partial results show that Ibrahim Boubacar Keita has a large lead over his main rival, Soumaïla Cissé.
The lead is a big one. If it is confirmed, there will not be a second round in the election.
Activists for Soumaïla Cissé were angry. They were calling for the minister to step down, accusing him of organizing the hijacking of the election and wanting to plunge Mali into chaos.
We're surprised that those people in charge of organizing the election are heating up the situation and putting nasty ideas in the minds of the people.
The National Commission for Centralizing Vote Counting is tallying results for the 27 candidates. It will then present official national results to the Territorial Ministry after having compared them to the figures region by region. The Commission has so far provided only the voter participation figure for Sunday's election, 53.5%.
We now take a second break. News and Sports is up next. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Mustafa Kebe has been elected as the president of the Gambia Football Federation by stakeholders during the long-awaited Executive Congress. Kebe swept to victory convincingly with 31 votes, while his fellow contestant Modu Musa got 21 votes. Mustafa Kebe's victory, as we hear in this report by MS Jallo, marks the end of the normalization period and the beginning of a new era in Gambian football.
43-year-old Mustafa Kebe has been overwhelmingly elected as the new boss of Gambian football, putting him into the country's football history books as the first president of the Gambia Football Federation. The new president of the Gambia Football Federation won with overwhelming majority with 30 votes, whilst his opponent Modu Musa got 21 votes. Football delegates representing the first and second division football clubs, affiliated football associations and the 7 regions were present at the Congress, among them the 2 aspirants, Modu Musa and Mustafa Kebe. The movers and shakers of Gambian football, one after the other, arrived on time to take their rightful position in the Congress Hall to decide on the future of Gambian football by bringing down the curtains on 16 months of normalization period and usher in a new era in Gambian football.
The main purpose of today's meeting, or Congress, is to usher in a new executive elected by you. I wish you all the best.
The opening remarks by the outgoing vice chairman of the normalizing committee set the ball rolling for the much anticipated Congress, beginning with the normalization committee's activity and financial report, and then the elections, which were held behind closed doors. But by the time the gates of the Congress Hall were reopened to the press, Mustafa Kebe had already been elected the president of the Gambia Football Federation. Not only did Mustafa Kebe win the presidency convincingly, but his team went on to win all the other executive positions, with Usman Stajane being elected the first vice president, Keba Toure as the second vice president, and Basiru Bajo as the third vice president, whilst Boridabo was also co-opted into the new executive. In his first speech as president, Mustafa Kebe urged football stakeholders to put the politics behind them and unite to develop football.
It's you who made the decision. Before now, we were all aspiring. We are nothing but aspirants. But you, the delegates, have made a decision. And we are convinced that your decision is the right one. Campaign and talking about candidates is all over. What I promise is what I intend to start today, to unify the different stakeholders in football. So as of this moment, there is nothing like a camp. We are one in the same football family, and we need to start tightening our belts from today and move Gambian football to higher heights and to the next level. Gambia has to be a school for Africa and for other countries, and that's what I promise, and that is what would happen, inshallah.
The new Gambia Football Federation president also thanked the Gambian leader, President Jammeh, for his continuous support to Gambian football.
I would like to thank the government of the Gambia, sincerely thank the chief patron of football, His Excellency, Sir Professor Dr. Alhaji Yahya AJJ Jammeh. for his tireless efforts